All right, guys, we got ourselves some major breaking news regarding Candace Owens. Once again, this woman just cannot stay out of the news. She is always in the news for something because she's just unbelievably controversial, and it's always something. In this specific case, Candace Owens has officially been banned from the entire country of Australia after their high court upheld the visa block that took place last year in 2024. Allow me to break it down. We're going to go over all the details here. So Candace Owens is now banned from entering Australia after losing her appeal in the High Court. The High Court upheld the Minister for Home Affairs decision from October 2024, saying there was a risk that her presence would incite discord in the Australian community, given her views and comments, which the minister stated he found to be extremist and inflammatory comments towards Muslim, Black, Jewish, and LGBTQIA plus communities, which generate controversy and hatred. Miss Farmer, Candace Owens, did not pass the character test on the basis that if Miss Farmer were allowed to enter Australia, there was a risk that she would incite discord in the Australian community in a segment of that community. Let me go ahead and just break this history down for you guys, for those who may not know. So here's what happened. 2024, remember, Candace Owens is mega popular, especially in the United States and apparently even different parts of the world. Candace Owens announced a speaking tour back in Australia back in August of 2024. She called it Candace Owens Live or whatever. And basically it was a tour where she was selling tickets. Tickets were like $100. People would pay money in all these different cities in Australia. And they were going to be able to see Candace Owens live, speak live about whatever she wants to talk about, whatever her views are. And she was also going to do meet and greets as well. This happened last year in 2024. This actually happened like right before the election, before Donald Trump got elected. In October of 2024, Australia's immigration minister, his name is Tony Burke, he canceled her visa. He's like, oh, heck no, not in our country. He's like, absolutely not. You ain't coming here. So he cancels her visa under Section 501 of the Migration Act, which basically allows refusal or cancellation if a person fails what they call the character test. Now, Tony Burke cited Owens' history of extremist, inflammatory comments, same thing that I just read towards Muslim, Black, Jewish, all that different stuff. And after that, they actually listed specific examples as to why Candace's visa basically got revoked and why she can't come to the country. So they said that she downplayed Nazi medical experiments on Jews during the Holocaust. They said that she claimed that Muslims started slavery, which they say is historically an accurate statement that distorts the transatlantic slave trade's European and African roots. And then they said that she promoted a bunch of conspiracy theories. This part I agree with without question, and I think a lot of us do. One of the things that I do strongly dislike about Candace, again, I'm not a Candace Owens hater. I've got nothing against Candace Owens. I actually, some of her content I do like, actually. I've made that very clear. But I can't get down with this crazy conspiracy crap that she be spewing, especially regarding the whole Charlie Kirk thing. But they said that she promotes conspiracy theories like alleging secret Jewish gangs in Hollywood or that Israel was founded by a cult. And then Tony Burke also concluded that Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else. The decision had bipartisan support. So you had different parties in that region basically support it. And then after that, what happened was Candace Owens challenged that ban in Australia's federal court, arguing that it violated the implied constitutional freedom of political communication. She actually lost in that court. So she challenges the ban in Australia federal court. She loses, and her case actually gets escalated to the High Court. This took place in February of this year. And then we just got the news today that the High Court in Australia unanimously upheld the government's decision, ruling that the visa refusal was lawful and proportionate. And the court rejected the free speech claim that Candace Owens tried to make, basically emphasizing that immigration controls prioritize national security and community harmony over unrestricted entry for foreign speakers. Owens was ordered to pay the Commonwealth's legal costs, and this pretty much marks her end of her legal avenues in Australia. So it's pretty much a done deal. There's really nothing else she can do. She's banned from the country. She can't go there, and that's just kind of what it is. Now, what's my take on it? Well, you guys might not agree with my take, but I mean, it's their country. They can do what they want. That's how I feel about it. I'm not really tripping or making a big deal about this. I mean, you may have some people who say that, that's not good for free speech, that they don't like what Candace has to say. And so because they're not a fan of like her views of what she has to say, they can't come to the country. And you would be right about that. You would be 1,000,000% right about that it kind of is an attack on free speech when you're banning somebody from your country because you think that their rhetoric is harmful or you don't like it. But at the same time, their country, who am I to criticize what they want to do in their country? They made it very clear. We don't like what you have to say. We don't want this in our country. It got bipartisan support. And that's really what it is. There's really not much for me to say. The real thing that I really want to talk about, which I made clear in the last video, but I want to make it clear again. And I also want to kind of respond anyway. I want to take this moment to respond because I got a lot of nasty comments in my last video. And that kind of tells me a lot about Candace Owens. The fact that there are so many nasty, disgusting people who follow Candace Owens is actually kind of scary, especially when I already made it clear that I am not a Candace Owens hater and actually like some of her content. I'm just not a fan of the way that she's been going lately. And that's when I want to speak to a little bit more clearly in case I wasn't clear in the last video because the amount of comments that I got, which, whatever, the comments don't bother me, but I at least want to make it clear that, you had a lot of people who are saying that I don't know what I'm talking about and everything she says is true and everything she speaks is facts. And that's just not true. It's just not. There's nobody in the world where everything they speak is facts. That's number one. Number two, I can name a bunch of things. I might even make a video on it. I might have to make a video to really break it down. It would take a lot of effort and work to piece all that together and do it. But if you just do a little bit of reading and thinking outside of the box and just having common sense and paying attention, it's really easy to debunk a lot of these insane conspiracies that she's been spewing, especially about Charlie Kirk. By the way, let's go over the obvious red flags. The producer of the show, Andrew Covid, has already come out and said Candace is wrong about pretty much everything and doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. Erica Kirk has been completely silent. And by the way, I kind of have an idea why she's been so silent. In my personal opinion, I don't think she'll be silent for long. You guys heard it here first. I don't know if any other content creators said this, but if they haven't, you've heard it here first. Erica Kirk is eventually going to speak out on Candace Owens if she keeps this up, or maybe even file a lawsuit or something. I don't know. Everybody else is doing it. She's already being sued. There was a guy that I covered yesterday that's threatening to sue her. I mean, it's just crazy how she's just spiraling out of control like this. And that's the real main thing that I want to speak to. So to all the people in my comments that are just like saying this nasty stuff, like I'm dumb and I don't know anything. I mean, okay, if that's what you really want to believe, but what you're going to see is that over time, the truth is going to reveal itself. So fine, you may live in the Candace Owens bubble or the cult where you think that she could do no wrong and she's right about everything, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because if you just do a little bit of research on Twitter and look at the people that are actually affiliated in Turning Point USA and who are actually close to Charlie Kirk, which Candace Owens was not, which, by the way, that is so easy to prove. I had people in my comments saying that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were close. Are you dumb? Like, are you crazy? And then they tried to say what they tried to pull up some random video that he made like a while ago before he died, where they were like, see, this is proof. Bro, what are you talking about? Look at their relationship when she was in Turning Point USA and how they were always together and laughing and joking. You could tell when somebody is close and when they're friends and when they were not. It was obvious that they fell off. Oh, by the way, people that were close to Charlie and affiliated with Turning Point USA have already come out and said that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk had kind of fallen off a little bit. They were not as close as they used to be. At the very least, they were cordial. They were not like super good friends. But you know what? Why am I even explaining myself? The people who are in this Candace Owens cult that think she's right about this absolute foolishness and garbage she's spewing about this Charlie Kirk conspiracy and the Jews killed him or whatever they're trying to say. The freaking, what else are they trying to say? Turning Point USA has something to do with just dumb stuff. Somebody came up underground and whatever. It's foolishness. It's absolute foolishness, you know, so. Anyway, I just want to kind of rant on that real quick at the end of the video. But besides that, I wanted to update you guys on this breaking news that we just had. So as always, let me know what you think in the comments. And it's okay because we don't censor or ban comments on this channel. So you're free to leave all the nasty comments you want. You want to talk about me and how stupid I am, go right ahead. Thanks for commenting and watching, by the way. I appreciate that. But yeah, anyway, that's today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. And I will see you guys in the next one.